All right, guys, welcome to Cover 3. We are now today going to cover the NFC North, one of the divisions that you got one really bad team and three teams that could all fight for first place, but when you see the team that we have picked first, it's really kind of black and white on who's going to win this division.
Yeah.
But like we've been doing, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way to the top, and we're going to start with Chicago, the Bears. Are Jay Cutler's last ride, yes or no?
Jay Cutler is the Jeff George of this era. It's a fair comparison. He's got good, big, strong arm, and when he makes some throws, that you will be like, "How is that guy not better than everybody?" Well, the next drive he shows you why. He makes that throw that you're like, "What was that?" Is it his last ride? I'm going to say yes, because he just, if you can't get a guy motivated. And he's had, 4 head coaches, 5 head coaches? You counting Shanahan? So
yeah,
it's just too many, Jeff. I mean, he can't.
And different offensive coordinator almost every year also.
And he has talent around him. I think that's probably the most baffling thing to me about Jay Cutler. At first, there was an argument to be made that he didn't have anybody. Like when they went to the NFC Championship game that one year, and he had the year that he got hurt in the NFC title game, he didn't have as much talent around him.
There was no Brandon Marshall. His best player was probably Devin Hester.
Yeah, so he had, but then they went out and got some guys.
Marshall, Jeffries, Bennett, all these real good guys around him, and Matt Forte.
And this, even in looking at tape from last year, he was just missing guys. That was like at first I thought it was offensive line play, but it actually wasn't. Some of it was, but a lot of it was just he was just flat out missing guys. So, I think yes. I think John Fox, if there's anybody who can get him to sort of be motivated enough to win, I think it's John Fox. And I think it actually has more to do with, Jeff, the fact that they're going to run the football first.
Yeah, that was a big thing I had. And I hate to put so much blame on Mark Trestman, but Mark Trestman was coming from Canadian football, which the rules are much different. It's starts off first and 25 or something like that.
I don't know, something like that, yeah.
Where running the ball is not a priority, and then he comes to the NFL and goes, "Well, this is a quarterback-driven league. I don't have to run the ball." How many times have we seen Matt Forte get 10 or less touches, and then Jay Cutler have to drop back and throw the ball 50 times because they were down so much?
In Trestman's defense, one of their problems was their defense has been the worst in the NFL the last 2 years. It's not even close. Combined with Jay Cutler not being good, and it's a recipe for disaster. That's why you get Kevin White in the draft, because you're picking high enough to get him. Their defense should be better because they get Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
So it should be better, I know all about Vic Fangio. He's a good coordinator. I don't know that he has the talent that he had in San Francisco, so
probably not.
We'll see if he can make that work anyway. But, yeah, Jay Cutler, listen, the bad thing about Jay Cutler is this. Let's say he comes out, Jeff, he goes 30 touchdowns, 10 receptions. They're still going to be third place at best.
The defense isn't good enough to stop anyone.
Yeah, so he could have his best season. I don't know that it matters. I think for the franchise it's good.
Yeah.
But I don't think that this team as a whole is good enough to beat out the other 3 teams in the division. At best, they'll split with 2 of them, but there's nothing that I've seen this offseason in terms of signings, in terms of draft picks. Kevin White helps, but he's not even going to be playing
for the
first few weeks. Yeah, so, they will have to run it first. They'll have to be successful. The offensive line's got to be better than it was last year, because at times it wasn't good either.
Yeah,
Matt Forte was running, and he was just hitting the wall.
Is it out of the realm of possibility to think that if the right offer comes along, that Jay Cutler could be traded before the trade deadline?
My question is, who wants him? That's my question.
Anyone can.
I'm not talking about.
Let's just say
you're saying trade like as a backup or as a starter.
Yeah, let's say someone gets hurt. Let's say. Just looking at their schedule, I'll pick the first team. San Diego, let's say Phillip Rivers goes down, and they need someone to step in to make that playoff push. Is that out of the realm?
Charlie Whitehurst? Yeah, I could. Yeah. anything's possible, Joe. I just think at this point, I think I'm more surprised that the Bears have, and I guess when you give a guy a big, huge deal, you have to stay committed to him at least for the short term, because the bad thing is guaranteed money is guaranteed money, and he's got some guaranteed money. So if you trade him, you still have to pay him. You know, my dad always told me, he said, if I still have to pay you, you're going to play. You're going to be on my team. You're going to be on my roster doing something.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why they've stuck with him so long. But, you know, whatever happens this year, Joe, they're going to either be thinking we're taking a quarterback with the top 5 pick that we'll have in the 2016 NFL draft, or they're going to be talking about, okay, we finally found a formula that we got Jay Cutler to be able to execute at a high level. Yeah. Because that's what makes Jay Cutler so baffling, is that when you turn on the tape, it's not like he can't do it. Like to say he's Jeff George is only by arm strength comparison. He can read a defense. He can make throws.
He's a very smart quarterback.
Yeah, he can do those things. It just seems like he just doesn't want to. So whatever the case may be, this year it's almost a trial basis to see if Jay Cutler is going to play well. Because if he doesn't, I don't know who the top pick is in the 2016 draft, but it's probably going to be
the guy from Ohio.
Okay, yeah, I mean, so
let's take a quick rundown of the schedule. First 3 games: at home against Green Bay, at home against Arizona, on the road to Seattle. 0-3 start. I
mean,
I don't see them winning any of these games. I'm sorry.
I will say this. I think their first game is the most important.
Against Green Bay.
Because I think it's one of those games. It's not just us picking them to finish last year. Everybody's picking them to finish last because they really should finish last.
Yeah.
But if somehow, some way they come out, because in week 1, everybody's a Super Bowl contender in week 1. Everybody. Jacksonville, I don't care who you are. They can win the game. Yeah. They can win a game.
Yeah.
If they can come out in week 1 and somehow spring an upset, beating Green Bay, they're at home.
Yeah.
That's the best chance to do it.
And then you got the momentum carrying you saying, hey, we stuck with Green Bay. Let's say they don't win this game, but they lose by like 3 points.
No, because I still think a loss is bad. I think a loss just...
But still, it's saying that you were able to lose to Green Bay by only 3 points in a game that you should be blowing the water by 20 points or more.
But think about this. When you're a team that's supposed to finish last, it's not like Green Bay lost to them by 3 and Green Bay's like, oh, we just didn't make enough plays.
Yeah.
If Chicago loses to them, they're supposed to lose to them because Green Bay's better.
Yeah, true.
That's why I say Chicago, if they can win this game, then they get another home game against a tough opponent. But like you said, they'll have some momentum. That first game to me is huge. If they lose that game, I think their season just goes exactly the way we think it is, because there's nothing to me except for Oakland in the first. Because, okay, we got home to Green Bay, home to Arizona, at Seattle,
home to
Oakland, then at the Chiefs, at Detroit, home to Minnesota, at San Diego. I'm sorry, I see 1-6. I can't. There's no way that I can't. There's no way.
I mean,
I can't. There's no way.
Yeah, well,
short of injuries.
I mean, these are
yeah.
For having a 4th place schedule, they got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, they do,
because they had to play the whole AFC West.
Yeah, and they had to play. Yeah.
And they had to play the whole NFC West also.
Yeah, they did. Not a great 4th place schedule. That's not a good 4th place schedule.
Yeah, Chicago kind of got screwed by the schedule.
But they have to. I think their first game is huge. Can they come out? Can they establish some momentum? If they can, maybe they'll do something a little different than we think. But if not, we picked them to finish 4th for a reason. So,
all right, let's move on to our 3rd place team, a team that made some, I don't know, I guess we could call questionable moves.
Well, I'm always a guy who. There's only a couple players in the league that I agree with giving $100 million to. If you're asking me if I think Ndamukong Suh is one of them, I'm going to say no.
Really?
And the only reason is because he plays a position that it is important, and it does, impact the game, impact the field, because he's able to rush the passer and stop the run. He takes on double teams. He does a lot of good things. For me, though, because he plays that kind of position that it does not, how do I put it? He doesn't make necessarily as big an impact as you may think he does. And here's what I mean by that. He was on a defense, Jeff, that had pretty good players around him. I'm talking about on that line.
Oh, yeah. Nick Fairley.
And Detroit won 10 games once in his tenure. Twice. In what was that, 5-6 years?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not that it's not that he's not great. But if I'm going to tie up my salary cap, it's going to be to a quarterback, it's going to be to a special wide receiver, or it's going to be to a shutdown cornerback. That's just my opinion. So I'm fine with them not signing him because it frees up more things to do everywhere else. For instance, you gave DeAndre Levy that good contract. He deserved it.
Yeah.
You know, he's a big-time player on that defense, Jeff. Mm-hmm. He's a big-time player. So I think their defense will be fine. It's not going to be as dominant. Mm-hmm. But having Lalonde Nada ain't exactly a soup kitchen. I mean, he's a player, too.
Yeah, but they did have to give up a lot to get him. That's the problem.
Yeah, they did. But it wasn't $100 million.
Sure. All right, well, obviously, if you can't tell by the non-conceded talk, we have the Detroit Lions to finish third.
Right.
And honestly, for me, it's all going to rely on, can Calvin Johnson play all 16 games? Not saying that Calvin Johnson is not arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. But last year, you could tell there was obviously a big piece missing.
He was hurt
when he was hurt.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, he wasn't the same, but he said he's going to bounce back, and I believe him.
Oh, I think.
And even if I didn't believe him, it's Calvin Johnson. The guy is 6'5". He's a monster. I mean,
mark me down for Calvin Johnson being the offensive player of the year for this year.
Hey, I don't know about that, but he'll be better than he was last year. That's for sure. And this is a tough team to figure because
you look at the offense and there you got playmakers everywhere. You got a good quarterback in Stafford.
Well, I think that's what it is. I think it's Stafford. I think Stafford is that guy who should be better than he is, Jeff.
Put Stafford
on his arm talent. No. And he's not Jay Cutler.
No.
But he's not quite like he's in that tier 3 of quarterbacks. He's not tier 1. He's not quite tier 2, although he is at times. Mm-hmm. He's in that tier 3 that's like, okay, he could step up to tier 2, but he just needs more consistency. Also,
I agree with that. I got to look back at the defense. Who do they really have in their secondary?
Well, their secondary isn't based off, or their defense isn't based off the secondary. It's all about the defensive line.
I understand that. But let's say the defensive line doesn't get there. Who they got? Rasheem Mathis and Glover Quinn Jr.
I cannot remember the guy in their secondary who talked noise and said that he thinks their defense can be as good as Seattle's. I can't remember. He's one of their starting corners, and I laughed at him. I'm sorry, but no.
All right, well.
Like no, not even like no. But one thing I want to say about Stafford, he's one of those guys who and a perfect example is Jeff is remember it was either 15 or 16 when they played Green Bay in Green Bay.
Yeah.
I remember Green Bay, it wound up blowing them out. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers was hurt.
Yeah.
Stafford did not play well in that game. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm talking about when I say, okay, in big games, where is this guy? Is he going to be able to take that next step this year to establish that consistency? Because now you got a legitimate number 2. You've got a up-and-coming tight end in Ebron.
Yeah.
Your offensive line, I don't know if it's not great, but it should be better. You've got Amir Abdullah now. He should be able to take the next step. If he does, Detroit's going to be probably better than third. But again, to me, their season rides on Stafford.
I mean, let's look at the schedule. San Diego out on the road, Minnesota on the road.
Tough.
First home game is Denver.
And then after that, Seattle. After that, Arizona. I mean, that's 5 playoff teams potentially. At least 3 in Denver, Seattle, and Arizona. So we know we don't have to look at the rest of their schedule. They could go 0-5, legitimately.
Yeah.
And it's not for lack of talent. It's really just
playing
3 of the first 4 on the road.
Mm-hmm. And even when you get home, your first home game is Denver.
Yeah, Peyton Manning. Yeah. So they got their work cut out for them. But again, we picked these teams to finish that way for a reason. I mean, listen, this is a good football team. They can beat anybody on any given week.
Anyone can beat anybody on any given week.
No, I'm saying based off their talent.
Oh, yeah.
They can beat anybody any given week. So for them, to me,
And hopefully
can you win 2 of your first 3 games?
I think so.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, 2?
Yeah. Can you win 2 out of 3?
I think they can upset San Diego. Minnesota's a question mark. Denver, I don't have them winning. And then,
but they are at home against Denver, and it's a night game. People get up for night game.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you can win 2 of your first 3, I think they're in okay shape. Because even if you lost to Seattle and Arizona, that still only puts you at 2 and 3. Then you play the Bears. That should be a win. And then Minnesota. So you get 3 straight home games after the Seattle game. They got a shot. They still have a shot. Their season's not over. But you can't go like 0-2 going into the Denver game.
Yeah, and the problem is kind of the quick turnaround they're going to have at Green Bay. They play at Green Bay. Then they
Kansas City. Oh, the London game.
Yeah,
they got the London game. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they have the London game. Then they'd have to turn around and come back, play Green Bay.
After a bye, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, after a bye. But yeah.
But then turn around, come play.
3 straight home games again? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting schedule they got.
Like I said, quick turnaround, come home, play Green Bay. And on the road, then you have at home against Oakland, Thanksgiving against the Eagles, go Birds, and then a Thursday night game against Green Bay. Quick turnaround. They really got the.
Tough.
Yeah. The one thing they benefit from this quick turnaround against Green Bay is they have the bye week after the London game.
Yeah, but that's sort of a standard.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just because they were nice to them. When you have London, they automatically give you a bye because the time difference.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I mean, that's an extra week to
But
prepare.
they do have a tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of...
Because, honestly, let's see here. San Diego potential playoff, Minnesota potential playoff, Denver potential playoff, Seattle potential playoff, Arizona potential playoff. First 5 games, all potential playoff teams. Kansas City potentially playoff. Green Bay.
I mean, look at this. 7 of their first 8 are against potential playoff teams.
And then you have the Eagles, potential playoffs. That's 9 potential playoff.
I think they, but you know what though? If you look at this schedule, if they can get down to December, I mean, look at what they got: the Rams, the Saints, the 49ers, and the Bears. I mean, that's not exactly murderer's row like you have in the beginning.
Yeah.
So if they can get to December and they're 6-6 or something,
yeah,
they got a shot. Mm-hmm. You know, they got a shot. So I guess for them it's just about weathering the storm. Because we don't expect them to come out and go 11-0. So they're going to take some losses, but can you just manage the ship?
In fact, you gotta get to 10-6. That's usually the playoff.
Yeah,
10-6.
I mean, yeah, and that's even maybe stretching it too because
we had 10-6 teams last year.
They were 10-6 and didn't. So
was one of those.
You got to at least, like he said, get to 10-6, and you'll have a solid chance to make it. So Detroit, they can play with anybody. The key for them again is consistency. This team. At one point, they were 6-2 last year, Jeff.
Yeah, and then they just dropped the ball.
Yeah, so they've got to. They're capable. Mm-hmm. They're capable of being better than third.
Jim Caldwell is a good head coach.
He is.
He got the short end of the stick in Indy and lost his job because Peyton Manning was hurt. He shouldn't have lost his job because Peyton Manning was missed a whole season. That's not a good reason to lose your job.
Yeah.
That's like losing your head job in Minnesota.
No, I agree. I mean, I agree. You know how it's a business. You know, so.
And they thought the best business decision was to ship him off. And no offense to Jeff Pagano at all. He's a great head coach, but I feel like Jim Caldwell kind of got the short end stick. But let's move on to number 2, Minnesota. If you thought it was going to be Green Bay, I'm laughing at you.
Right. my question about Minnesota, Jeff, is we're picking them to finish second. A lot of people have them,
third or fourth.
No. A lot of people have them ascending.
Yeah.
My question: are we making too much of Teddy Bridgewater and us thinking he's going to be that difference maker that we think? Are we reading too much into that? Are we jumping on his back too fast, or do we think this kid's legit?
I think he's legit, but I have to be balanced on this. It's his second year. First year, you never know what you're going to get. Second year, guys start game planning for you. People are going to start leaving a spy or contain play so Bridgewater can't roll out and make those downfield throws. But what they did is they went and got him a weapon in Mike Wallace who can spread the field, and then you can't leave that spy in because you're going to need an extra guy in coverage to drop back and go, okay, where's Mike Wallace?
Well, what they really did was got Adrian Peterson. That's really
well, last year they were even decent without Adrian Peterson.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing. I think me and you agree on this. Is that
I mean, you can't take anything away from Adrian Peterson. No,
I just think it's a perfect compliment, though.
Oh, yeah.
This is by far the best quarterback he's had since Brett Favre. I mean, it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy he's good, and you can see during the preseason that he's making quicker reads. He's getting through his progressions faster, and you're seeing, and he's got weapons, and it looks like he'll have at least a solid defense, if not a good defense. You add what he had last year, and he was a guy, make no mistake, he was not spectacular by any means last year, but what he was above average. And if he was above average and didn't really have that great of a running game, and then you add the best back in the league to him, and all these speed threats they got now, Jarius Wright, Cordell Patterson, Mike Wallace, they have a chance to be very dynamic on offense. The one thing I worry about with them is that they don't have that big physical presence on the outside. I do worry about that a little bit because teams that can get up in your face, play man-to-man coverage, and get jams on you, get physical with you, those teams are the ones who can stop speed receivers. Now, there's not that many of those teams out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a division that, Detroit, for instance, has a great defensive line. They're probably the only team built to maybe beat Minnesota because they have such a good front seven. Green Bay's front seven is just okay. Chicago's front seven is just okay.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna have games, Jeff. What I'm saying is they're gonna have games where they look like the best offense in the league,
mm-hmm.
and then they're gonna have games where they look like lame ducks.
Oh yeah, but we're focusing so much on Trey Bridgewater and the offense. Let's talk about the defense. First round pick, Tremaine Waynes. I like the kid. I'm a fan.
I like him, but he's a rookie.
He's a rookie, but
rookies. You saw him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, he got blown out.
He's a rookie.
That's what we got preseason games for. We don't throw him in and say trial by fire unless that's how you want to run your game and you're too worried the guy's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Talk early. Sorry,
right.
Little cough there.
But I think they're a team that really I don't think the offense determines how far they'll go. I think the offense keeps them in every game. I do. I mean, they're going to have more chances than not to score. It's really the defense. Can the defense come up with enough stops? Because we got them finishing second for a reason, Jeff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we think high.
I think the defense is good.
Yeah.
I'm a guy who's a fan of the blitz. I like the blitz. If you play me, man, I will run 50% blitz.
Right.
Who do they have that can blitz? Is Anthony Barr going to be healthy this year?
No clue.
I mean, Anthony Barr is probably their best pass
the
rusher.
USC kid, Everson Griffin, is one of their pass rushers.
And they got Eric Kendricks.
Yeah.
And Eric Kendricks, younger brother of Michael Kendricks of the Philadelphia Eagles. If he plays anything like his brother is in Philly, it's going to be,
let's look at the schedule.
Week 1 at San Francisco.
Should be a win. Week 2, Detroit.
At home. At
home, yeah.
Is it in their new stadium? Or are they still playing at the College of Minnesota?
I'm not sure, but I want to say they are still playing at college.
Okay, well, there's
then you get a West Coast team in San Diego coming over.
Yeah.
They got a chance to start 3-0 before going to Denver. They really do.
And then that game in Denver, I feel like that's the first big test.
It is.
If they can
Let's see who you are. Let's see who this team really is in week 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hurdle. You got to jump. If you can, again, I'm one of those guys that says, even if they lose in Denver, because they're picked to lose, but if they lose by, let's say, a field goal, is that a good thing? It's not good to take the loss, but is it a good thing to say we stuck with a team that got Peyton Manning, and we slowed them down?
Here's what I say. What's their record by then? If it's 3-0, I think you want the win. If it's 2-1, a loss there is like, they're up and coming still.
Yeah.
But if they're 3-0 by then, they're walking in thinking we're going to beat them.
But I think, honestly, the biggest game that will determine if they make the playoffs or not is Week 17 on the road in Green Bay. Honestly, Green Bay's going to probably have the division locked up by then. Let's be honest. If Green Bay is going into Week 17 going, okay, we need to win.
Well, I don't know, because remember last year they didn't until Week 15. They had to beat Detroit at home So we don't know that. We just assume because Green Bay's so great that they're going to have it locked up. But you never know how these seasons go. And this is a team that can challenge. At least offensively, they can match Green Bay. And the reason is not what you would think. It's actually because they got a guy, Jeff, who can flat out just take over the game.
Yep.
And he can keep the ball away. He can keep 12 on the sideline.
Yeah.
So that's something that nobody else in the division really has. Matt Forte, he is okay, I'll give you that. He's that guy.
I was even thinking Matt Forte.
But
Eddie Lacy?
Yeah, he's that guy too. You're right. He's that guy. But when you think the Packers, you think Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm these two teams that we pick, Minnesota and Green Bay, they have the best quarterback running back combos. So every single time they meet, that's what it's going to be about. Mm-hmm. How the quarterback do, how the running back do.
Yeah, no one's going to be looking at the defense in these games. It's all going to be about which offense makes the first mistake.
Yeah. Like I said, Minnesota's interesting. They have so much speed. In some ways, they're almost like a boomer bust team, though. Like I said, I mean, they're going to have games where they've run up the score, put up 30, 40, and then they're going to have games where, I don't know what happened to them. Those receivers aren't going to get off the line, and we'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes. They've got a lot of talent. Their schedule,
it's favorable.
It's favorable. They got a chance, really.
I mean, the middle of their schedule, they got at Detroit, at Chicago, home against St. Louis, at Oakland, and then at home against Green Bay.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it's a pretty good schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tough games against Seattle. Even though you have them at home, it's still Seattle.
Right.
You know what you're going to get with Seattle.
Right.
But I say we move on from Minnesota and just cover the team that we really don't have to talk about that much because everyone knows them. It's Green Bay.
Right.
I mean, we could honestly just end it with Green Bay's going to win the division. Everyone already knows every argument we're going to make for why they're not going to lose this division.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest here.
Now, this is interesting, though. I don't know if I made this point on another podcast we had or not, but I was talking to my dad last week, and I thought about something that I don't think a lot of people think about Green Bay, Jeff. Aaron Rodgers is injury prone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we made this point.
Yeah, and that's probably the only thing that could stop them from winning the division. This guy has missed some games. He has missed some games in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, and he hasn't missed games like, Sam Bradford missing
No, not like that, but for a
seasons.
team with their aspirations, we're not talking about the Rams.
Well, that's why they went out and got Brett Hundley in the draft. You wasted a fifth-round pick on a guy who's just there to watch and learn.
Yeah, but there's no bigger drop-off than in the NFL than the first quarterback than the second quarterback, So I think Green Bay, this is their division as long as Rodgers stays healthy. There's no question. My question for them, Jeff, really is defensively, Dallas should have beaten them.
Mm-hmm. No.
Seattle, no, this is what I mean. They didn't stop Dallas.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
They had to outscore Dallas. Got lucky on the catch thing. You go to Seattle, you definitely, for the first 3.5 quarters, played pretty good defense.
It was all just a bad handling of the onside kick.
More so than that, though, because
sorry, I hate to deter for a second, but how does Bostic still have his job in Green Bay?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I know. How, though? How do you keep your job after that?
Because you can't fire a guy, because this is what I say. Green Bay was on defense 2 more times after that.
Yeah.
He may have fumbled the ball, but they didn't stop him either. So, you gotta stick with that guy. He's a special team. If he was a guy that I expected more out of, then maybe I come down a little hard on him. But he is what he is. So, but this team defensively, that's my question. Are they good enough defensively? They got a lot of young guys, Jeff, in that secondary. There's no more Sam Shields. There's no more, or Sam Shields is there. There's no more Tramon Williams.
Devontae Adams is still there, I believe.
No, he's young. I'm talking about defense. They have a lot of young corners. That's what I mean. They have a lot of young corners, a lot of young linebackers, D linemen.
And if you want a quick reference on how popular Ha Ha Clinton Dix is, he gets an achievement on Madden now. The Ha Ha Clinton Dix Legacy Award is now an achievement on Madden.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how popular the kid is.
Apparently.
I mean,
I'm looking at this schedule though. I mean, they have a really favorable schedule. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on a second. Let's just the Bears. Okay, now if they lose that, then obviously okay. But look at this. You get Seattle at home. You get Kansas City at home. San Francisco's not a threat. St. Louis, you get them at home. San Diego at home. Then you go to Denver. Then you go to Carolina. So they're like setting these guys up for success. They're like, oh yeah, this is all yours.
I mean,
this is your division.
Their toughest game.
You get Dallas at home. I mean,
that's a game I'm definitely gonna be watching close. I mean, because it's gonna be in December. It's cold.
All of their toughest games outside of the division are at home.
Yeah.
They better win the division.
I mean, the toughest game outside of the division. Their toughest games outside of the division are
Denver and Carolina. That's it. I mean, but that's it though. They could lose those two games and just still be gravy.
Yeah, I mean,
they're going to go 4-2 in the division at the very least. Probably 5-1.
Honestly, if I had to pick how their season's going to finish out, I'd say 14-2 home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
I don't think they're that good.
Because
I don't think they're better than they were last year.
I mean, they're pretty much the same team they were from last year. Just had
and that team lost 5 games.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, I can't. There's no way that this team wins 14 games.
All right.
Unless everybody on that schedule's hurt.
All right, really quick, something before we wrap this episode, we're going to do something that I came up with earlier called Week 1 headlines for every team in the division. We'll start with Chicago. What do you see as their Week 1 headline in the Monday morning newspaper?
It's funny because as I said what I said about it, I think it's going to read Cutler, Fox make great combo. I think they upset the Packers in Week 1.
I think it's going to be Forte like butter through Green Bay defense.
Yeah, that's possible too.
All right, let's move on to Detroit. I think their Week 1 headline is going to be Ndamukong Suh. Haloti Nada comes out and has a great Week 1 performance, and they win their Week 1.
Who do they play?
Never San Diego.
Okay.
So I think Haloti Nada makes his presence known early on there, and the save Detroit is just waves to Miami saying thank you for taking that giving him that $100 million contract that we didn't have to.
All right, my Week 1 headline for Detroit is Calvin Johnson shows he's back.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I think I'm sorry, that San Diego secondary, they gave Brandon Flowers $45 million. Mm-hmm. Brandon Flowers does not get $45 million in Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Okay, oh my God. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, Minnesota. I guess they play Week 1 before I say what I want to.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Teddy Bridgewater and Mike Wallace are magic.
Or magic. Adrian Peterson shows no rust in return.
I'm going to actually change it to Magic Mike.
There you go.
Magic Mike for Mike Wallace. And then Green Bay. I mean, this is
I already picked them to lose, so yeah. I got my headline's going to be different. I guess mine would say
relax. That's what mine's going to be. Aaron Rodgers repeats relax.
How about Packers take Bears lightly, falter in Week 1?
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I think that wraps it up. We'll be finishing up the NFC in our next episode where we cover the abysmal NFC South. We saved them for last because we have no idea who's going to win that division. Right. So we'll see you then. And like we always say, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave comments. They always help. Thanks.